technical glitches. I request each and every one of your patience as we sort these things out. Actually, yes. Yes. Thank you so much, Maviraja, for joining us. The Nithyananda Gurukul Balasams will now be taking the next segment in today's program and the demonstration of extraordinary Shaktis.
Yes. Thank you, Parashakti. And yes, so we'll be entering now into the segment of the power manifestation, where you will experience, witness the powers of Paramashiva on how they are being manifested. So in today's Bhava Samadhi Darshan, you will be witnessing and manifesting two extraordinary powers, which is one, the power of further reading, where you'll have the ability to scan and you have the ability to read through a third eye without where you blindfold both the two eyes and read from the third eye, and also the power of thought current scanning. Yes. Yes, so these powers will be transmitted through the power of Diksha. And before that, we'll be getting into on what is Shakti. So Shaktis are very elaborated, described in the Vedas and the Agamas, saying that the source scriptures of the Vedas and Agamas, which are source scriptures of Hinduism, where Parashakti reveals in elaborate detail that every human being is hardwired to be able to manifest the 463 plus extraordinary Shaktis, which is the divine powers. Manifesting powers are described as a system, method, and a sign for human beings to explore the various possibilities and powers to have access to various states of consciousness. Shaktis manifest in a fundamental cognition that you are a divine and you have to manifest the divine, rather not from the cognition that you are a man and you need to reach the divine. So what's the difference between Shaktis and Siddhis? Shaktis expresses from the space of enlightenment as a sign of will establish and high integrity and high feeling connection with within. And Shaktis are a source of enlightenment, whereas Siddhis are the powers that manifest from the tapas or penance of enlightenment, and Siddhis are in the path of enlightenment. Shaktis manifest through an ordinary human being in an extraordinary way after initiation from the avatar, and Shaktis are permanent, whereas Siddhis are not permanent and fixed. So all of us feel these divine powers in all of us, and who's the source of all the Shaktis? The source of all the Shaktis is none other than Paramashiva, who is the primary divinity in Hinduism, who is the ultimate reality and cause, who is self-effulgent Swayam Prakasha, all-pervading, unchanging on time, space, form, and causality. As a fundamental base of Avyakta, the I manifest, and Vyakta, the value for existence, he performs the Panchakritya, the five cosmic acts of Srishti, creation, Sthiti, sovereign rulership and maintenance, Samhara, rejuvenation, Bhava, pulling out of delusion, and Anugraha, liberating grace for all living entities in the multiverse. So the avatar of Paramashiva, who is none other than the supreme point of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam, is the 1008th living incarnation and representative of Paramashiva. He is also the reviver of Kailasa, which is the ancient enlightened Hindu civilization nation, the great cosmic godless Hindu nation. So ever since the beginning of the civilization, the Sanatana Hindu Dharma has been the cradle of enlightened beings and highly advanced sciences. It was where the sense of enlightenment and power Shaktis was lived and taught as a lifestyle for each and every one of us. For the first time in the modern day, the supreme point of Hinduism is reviving these yogic sciences and transmitting it to the world at a record-breaking, never accomplished level. So, how are these and how are these Shaktis being transmitted to each and every one of us? Is this the Guru Parampara? So the science of manifesting these Shaktis are being passed down from one generation to the next through the power of initiation or Diksha by the enlightened spirits. So Swamiji, being recognized as a supreme point, recognized as an incarnation at a very young age, was trained and taught into these sciences so that he can revive and initiate so that he can revive initiations and knowledge repositories for billions to manifest science of power manifestation from the discipline of Vedanta, Tantra, Sri Vidya, Yogic powers, Mantra Shastra, Siddha Vidya, science of Aushadha, Advaita, Bhakti Yoga, Paramashivoham, and ultimately Paramashivoham. So these Shaktis have been transmitted to us through the power of Diksha. So, how they awaken these divine powers in all of us? It is simple. So, every ultimate truth, which is Jnana, mapped into your consciousness, which is Prajnana, manifests as a power and possibility of every being, which is Prajnana. So this science of manifesting powers is being transmitted to each and every one of us through the power of initiation. So initiation can be done either by sparsha, touch, nayana, look, and mantra or a word from the enlightenment. Let us now watch a short clip on what exactly is Diksha and what are the various side effects of being initiated.
Diksha is the direct transfer of spiritual energy by an enlightened being through look, word, or touch. The traditional Vedic book Navaratneshwara states, Sarvasamapi Dikshanam Muktihi Phalamakhanditam Avirodhat Bhavantyeva Prasangyastu Bhuktayaha. The main benefit of all initiations is moksha, enlightenment. As a side effect, health, wealth, leadership, and well-being happen. And in Rudrayamala Tantra, Shiva says, Devi Diksha Vihinasya Nasgatihi Tasmat Sarva Prayatnena Guruna Dikshito Bhavet. The one who is not initiated does not attain liberation nor a better future. So by all efforts, one should get initiated by Guru. What is the science of initiation? Neuroscience has proved that the process of initiation floods the brain with energy. This is the superconscious energy of Kundalini, our own highest inner potential energy. As the Kundalini flows from the thalamus to the cortex, it sets up a powerful energy loop within the brain, which awakens the latent non-mechanical parts which we have never used before. With increasing levels of coherence, the whole brain comes alive, turning into a superconductor of conscious energies that heal, empower, transform our lives, bliss and fulfillment. Initiation creates high awareness, visualization, creativity. It also slows the aging process and improves the immune system. Kundalini awakening, healing experience, levitation, teleportation, materialization. Experience the power of initiation through a range of exclusive programs conducted at the ashram. Nithyananda Dhyanapeetham, Nithyananda Nagar, Birdi, Bengaluru. Contact 97422 03311 82774 90091.
Yes, so the science of power manifestation is being authenticated through four aspects of evidences or pramanas in Hinduism. So first is the Shastra Pramana, which is the eternal unchangeable truth revealed in the source scriptures, the Vedas and the Agamas. And second is the Apta Pramana, the Vedic rishis that experiences who time tested and verified the science. And next is the Atma Pramana, the supreme point of Hinduism's personal experience and the science of power manifestation. Last is the Pratyaksha Pramana, the scientific observation and scientific experimentation done on the science of power manifestation. So, what exactly the Vedas and Agamas? Vedas are the ultimate superior authorities for Hindus. Vedas are pure science where ultimate truths are explained very elaborately, whereas Agamas are scriptures where applied technology, the applied science is expanded very deeply. So Vedas and Agamas are given the status of Shruti as they've been heard. They are directly revealed by Paramashiva. They're the ultimate, eternal, unchangeable truths. So a reference taken from these Shastras, also scriptures, is called the Shastra Pramana. So let us now get ready to witness the demonstration of the power of the third eye. And today, the first power we'll be demonstrating today is the power of third eye reading. So the Shastra Pramana, the scriptural reference for the power of third eye reading, comes from the Vidyadhara Tantra, Sutra 34. Kapalantarmanonyasa tishthanmilitalochanaha kramen manasodadyat lakshaye lakshamuttamam. The translation goes, by fixing the mind on the inner space within the crown center and sitting stably without any movement, having the eyes closed in succession, by the stability of the mind and inner space, through the power of the third eye, one directly sees the ultimate goal laksham by having the vision beyond the sight that reveals any object or place, attain the state of oneness with the source, Paramashivoham. And next is the Apta Pramana.
Yes, where Krishna initiates Arjuna and the third eye reading. So Bhagavan Krishna says to Arjuna,
Natu mam shakyase drashtum anenaiva sa chakshusha divyam dadami te chakshuhu pashyame yogamaishwaram.
but you cannot see my
Cosmic form with these physical eyes of yours. Therefore I grant to the divine third eye, behold my cosmic opulence. So in the Hindu Purana Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Shri Krishna initiates Arjun's power of third eye to behold Shri Krishna's Vishwarupa Darshan, which is the vision of Shri Krishna's own cosmic form. So in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which contains a description of Bhagavan Shri Krishna's form, which is completely narrated by Arjuna as he sees Bhagavan Krishna through the power of the prayer.
Inside and outside broke. The first experience is that I was able to see everything around me, above me, the whole 360 degree, 10 direction, below me, everything. I realized not only I was able to see, I was able to feel, experience. I felt that the skin of the stone on rock on which I was sitting and the skin of this body both carry me equally. In both I exist equally. The setting sun, rising moon, the whole Arunachala hill, all the plants, bush, shrubs, trees, everything just became so alive. The idea, something is inside,
And now the prediction demanded scientific experimentation on the science of power manifestation, where the study measures and compares metabolic cell activity of the brain in conscious and meditative states using the positive emission tomography, the PET. So when doing daily activities, high activity is measured in the brain where the third is located. And when the deep state of samadhi, only the third region is active and alive, and almost 90% of the brain is at rest. And now let us now witness a live Sakshi Pramana for the power of third eye reading done by the Balsans of the Gurukul. Now I request the screenshot be stopped. And along with me over here, I have an extraordinary Balasan with me.
It's Nithyananda. My name is Manita Brahmagananda and I'm 13 years old. I'm going to be assisting Mahabharija in this power of third eye today, and also I'm going to be doing body scanning.
Wonderful. So along with this, we have a medically tested eye band. So you can see the front, there's a black color opaque sheet. And if you see at the back, there's two holes, there's two sockets. So once you wear the eye band on, your eyes goes and gets locked and gets settled comfortably. And there's nice thick sponge which covers all sorts of the eyes and just don't let any sort of light to pass through it. So this type of eye band is designed medically for the people who are suffering from disease of insomnia. So now, Ma Brahmayoga will unstrap the eye band in front of you and we can putting the eye band on.
Mahabharija, is the eye band comfortable for you?
Yes.
So please stand to your right, left, up, and down. So all of you can see that there is no gap anywhere all around the eye band. And just for full proof, if Mahabharija wants any adjustments in the eye band, she'll be asking me to fix it, and she'll not be touching the eye band surgically.
Yes. So now I request the YouTube comments to be projected. And those of you who wants your comment to be read by the third eye, I request all of you to go to Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda Paramashivam YouTube channel and we'll be reading that live. Yes. Yes, so the latest comment which is posted in Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda Paramashivam YouTube channel is none other than Mahajananda has posted. The latest comment which is posted in Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda Paramashivam channel is Parashakti other than Butterfly has posted. The latest comment which is posted in Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda channel is Parashakti other than Butterfly has posted. The latest comment which is posted in Kailasa's HDH and before that the beautiful Parashakti other than Butterfly has posted. The latest comment which is posted in Kailasa's HDH and before that the beautiful Parashakti other than Butterfly has posted. So now I request the latest comment which is posted in Kailasa's yes, so Chandran Kamala and before that the beautiful Parashakti other than Butterfly has posted. So now I request the latest red, pink, and purple color heart, which is vibrating. And the latest, and just now we hear one Aya posting, Shiva Shankar Aya's posting. We hear two voices, two overlapping voices. Please check. Yes, we will fix our technical issues. Yes.
Yes. So,
And Maheshwari Mayananda has posted. I request the comments to be scrolled down in the YouTube channel. Yes, I request. Maheshwari Mayananda has posted. There is an echo going. Yes, you fix it, ma. And Mahajanisan has posted lots of echo. Hearty here says everything is amplified in number of times we hear it. Mahajanisan has posted, okay, fixed now. Thank you for the confirmation, ma. So now we will move on to the next power, which is the power of body scanning. And now I request my Brahmanga to remove the eye band and show to all of you that the eye band is still the same and there's no changes happen in the eye band.
yes, so all of you can see that the IBAN is completely the same. There is no gap in the sponge. There is no headphones added. Nothing is added. It's completely the same.
Yes. So now we'll be moving on to the next power of body scanning. So in this power of body scanning, the initiated disciples of the Supreme Point of Hinduism will have the ability to scan and reveal you the diagnosed medically issues and give you the best, quickest, and simplest solution out of which you can get rid of the problems. So the Shastra Pramana for the power of body scanning comes from Vijnana Tantra Sutra 50. Swadehe jagato vapi सूक्ष्मतराणि च तत्त्वानि यानि निलयम् ध्यात्वान्ते व्यज्यते परा. Yes. So the translation goes. Cognize deeply from the subtle to the subtlest, constitutive principle of your whole body, Swadeha, or of the whole universe simultaneously, consists of the essential reality. They are being observed in the source cause Paramashiva by the experience of such restful awareness. One becomes complete from all thoughts, and the ultimate universally one power, Paradevi Adishakti's and supreme power manifestation happens. And the next is the Apta Pramana. So this Apta Pramana, which is 5,000 years ago, taken from the very own life of a disciple named Thereya, who was one of the most prominent disciples of Saint Augustine. One day, a man suffering from a severe headache comes to Agastya for a body scanning, and Agastya scans and reveals to him that there's a small tube of terror, a type of cloud, which is sitting in the person's brain. And Agastya immediately instructs Thereya to perform an open surgery and remove the clot from the person's brain. After the surgery got completed successfully, the person got healed and cured of the headache, and thus he came the name Thereya. Next is the Atma Pramana, where Swamiji beautifully shares in his own words, which happened on the 22nd December 2019. Swamiji says very beautifully that only when I had a multiple compound hand fracture, I was forced to go for surgery and therefore medical checkups used to that. At that time, we detected heavy metal quantity in my different organs. It was revealed that I had been poisoned without our knowledge. I immediately used diagnostic methods instead of medical facilities to study the body condition due to the poisoning. Through the power of body scanning, I found out what the problems in imbalances had happened and where the balances has to be done. I used allopathy as a second opinion to verify my findings. And next is the Sakshi Pramana, where various disciples across the globe have experienced this power of body scan into day-to-day life and how their day-to-day life have actually become more powerful and active in it. And let us now witness a live Sakshi Pramana for the power of body scanning done by the biases of Nithyananda Gurukul and the Nithyananda Yogis after a short. Okay, so meanwhile, so those are the viewers who are watching us, and if you want a body scanning, please go ahead and post in the YouTube channel and the Facebook channel, and we'll be doing the body scanning from the comments from the yes. We are back again. So now I request the YouTube comments to be projected. Yes. So yes. So Sumi Murali Aya Amma has requested for please scan in my right eye and ear. Yes, ma. Ma Brahma will be doing the scan for you. Yes. So Ma Mahajandrasitan has requested. Can I please ask what the root pattern and faulty cognition that I have held which kept me captive in a toxic, destructive environment all my life? Thank you, ma. And let this now be clear. Yes, ma. I'll be doing a scan for you. Yes, so Maha Jalandrasikananda. So what Parmashiv revealed to me is that you are choosing right over you're choosing pleasure over right now. Like clearly I was able to see you are more towards the pleasure, not towards the right, which is good for your body and everything. So you just need to choose what is right, that's the solution I need to see. And Purity Vatsya has also request, can I request boys scanning please for myself? Shwaraya, you will get a body scanning, and yes, Ma Brahmeka is ready. You can go ahead, Ma.
Yes, I have done the body scanning for Master Murali, and my Paramashiva revealed to me that the Paramashiva has first of all, yes, healed your right eye and ear, and the solution which he gave is first thing, you should apply castor oil around your eye and on your ear wherever it's hurting, and also Paramashiva revealed that you have to start worshipping Paramashiva, like Shiva deity. You have to start worshipping Shiva and really like get a deity of him at home, worship him every day, and really feel that he's living there in the deity and start connecting to him, start speaking to him, and make him like a Rishi Devata, and that will really help you heal your right eye and ear. It might seem really weird and like it's not like a practical solution, but it will really help you in healing your right eye and ear.
Yes, so pure through Uchitaya is requested for a body scanning. Yes, so Ma Brahmeka will be doing for you. And Ma Salin is requested to have a body scan for my self doubt and confidence. Yes, Ma. I'll be doing the scans for you. Yes, so what Parameshwar revealed to me, Ma Salin, that you actually don't have any self-doubt, it's just the confidence which you need to enhance on. So what the solution may maybe say, take a more responsibility and you'll naturally get the confidence inside you. Yes.
Yes, and I have done the body scanning for Payatil Vajraya. And Aya Parameshwar revealed to me that you are feeling really sleepy and really tired during the day, and that is because you're having iron deficiency. And the solution which Parameshwar gave for that is eat a lot of mint leaves and a lot of dates during the day. Just eat a lot of them as much as you can. Just keep eating them, especially mint leaves, and your iron deficiency will immediately heal within a week's time. You'll start, and that is the only reason why you're feeling really lazy and sleepy during the day. So the moment it heals, you'll start feeling really active and you'll not feel sleepy at all.
Yes. Manita Parvashopriya has requesting healing of fat and of being taking advantage of this. Yes, ma? Yes, I'll do the healing for that. Yes, so the solution was able to take a more responsibility, especially yes. This will help you for the healing of the pattern will be clear as soon as possible. So we are getting comments saying that Masali is saying thank you and Namaskar Namoji and Pure Vajraya has come back saying yes, but completely correct. Thank you so much. Yes. And Mahajandra Sitan is of yes, I'm choosing the right over what is right for me. Yes, I've seen a beautiful and the right thing to do. This is true. What is pleasures for ideal of duty. Wonderful Gidi Magbat, thank you so much. Yes, so yes, so actually I would like to ask this one question to Mark Brahma. Like these people are coming, like all of the viewers watch this live right now. Like they be thinking like how are you getting the solutions? Like the Sparvish is showing images, like how does the solutions reveal to you? Because both the solution details unrelated to the problem. So yeah.
So how I manifest this power of body scanning my experiences. First I will yes, I'll first close my eyes and I'll connect to Parameshwara, and I'll ask him what is wrong with this person, what problem does he or she have, and what is the solution for it. and I'll get a projection, an image of a human body in black color, and then the part which is affected, if the person has a fracture on the right hand, then that it will get zoomed into that area, because that black color body, the image will get zoomed into the right hand of that person, and it will be in red color. So I know if the person has a fracture over there. And then I'll ask for the solution, or something like, if I'm asked for the root cause, then I'll see like if the fracture is happened because for example, the person has self-hatred. So then I'll see the person having hatred towards himself, and then after I ask for the solution, I'll get another image of the solution. So like for me, the whole body scanning gets revealed as images, and it's like real life 3D images. It's not like pictures, it's like actual images which gets revealed, and it's really powerful. And I'm okay. So Manitya Paramashivoham has asked me to repeat. Yes, I'll be repeating it. How I manifest this power of body scanning is completely through images. I'll first close my eyes and I'll connect to Paramashiva, and I'll see an image of a huge black body. And then if the right hand is affected, for example, then to get zoomed into that area. And then after that, when I ask for the solution, another image of the solution will get projected in my third eye. So this is how I manifest the power of body scanning. And this is my experience which I want to share with all of you. So with this, we have to end the power manifestation section.
We thank all the viewers who joined us on the segment of where you witness where the divine powers of Parashakti are being manifested. And with this, we'll be concluding this segment of the Parashakti's Akashic reading by moving ahead to the next segment, where we'll be learning on the divine feminine consciousness and who is the Parashakti and what she does. So we'll be moving ahead to the next segment after a short break.
And we welcome Madhura to come and share all about
Devi Parashakti. Thank you, Nithyananda. Yes, just a few technical glitches. Madhura will be back with us. Yes, thank you, Madhura. Yes, you can go ahead.
So now, with that wonderful demonstration of the extraordinary Shaktis that all of us had with the Balasans, now we'll be entering into the next segment of this program where we will be learning about the divine feminine consciousness, which is none other than Devi Parashakti herself. So let's first look at the Dhyana Shloka of Devi Parashakti, which comes from the Lalita Sahasranama Dhyana Shloka. Sindhuraruna vigraham trinayanam manikya spurate taranayaka shekharam smitamukhim mapina vakshoruham panibhyam alipurna ratna chashakam raktotpalam bibratim saumyam ratna gadastha rakta charanam dhyayet paramambikam. And the translation for this verse is, the Divine Mother is to be meditated upon, as shining in a vermilion red body, with triple eyes sporting a crown of rubies, studded with the crescent moon, a face all smiles, a splendid bust, one hand holding a jewel cup brimming with mead, and the other twirling a red lotus. And another Dhyana Shloka, which also comes from the Lalita Sahasranama, Arunam karunam tarangatakshim dritapashankusha pushpabana chapam animadibhiravritamayukaihi rahamityeva vibhavaye bhavani. And the translation for this verse is, I meditate on the great Empress. She is red in color and her eyes are full of compassion. She holds the nose, the gourd, the bow, and the flowery arrow in her hands. She is surrounded on all sides by powers such as Anima Furays, and she is the self within me. And Devi Parashakti is the ultimate pure feminine consciousness. Parashakti is the cosmic mother. It is her cosmic womb from which billions and billions of universes come out and go in, and the source where the Big Bang and black holes go on and on. And Parashakti is the source Shakti, the source energy, the source power from which all of us came, in which all of us are in even now, and in which all of us are going to merge. And out of her extreme love and compassion, Parashakti herself is manifesting through the embodied form as the Nijavatara of the supreme point of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, gracing us, answering all of our questions, attending to all of our prayers, giving boons, healing us, revealing our past, present, and future, delivering profound spiritual truths, and ultimately giving us the experience of Paramashivoham itself. And Devi Parashakti beautifully reveals how she manifests in the form of the Supreme Point of Hinduism as the Nijavatara of the Supreme Point of Hinduism. In her own words, she says, raising as Omkara, expressing as Vedas and Agamas, blossomed as Hrimkara, filled as Parashodasi, living in 40 triangles, the Kailasha Swami who is in Kailasha, Sri Purachintamani, Parashodasi, sitting as part of Paramashiva, Parameshwari who rules the world, Paramashakti, Manonmani, Meenakshi, as Nithyananda took Nijavatara here, to give good boons to everyone, to bestow all goodness, Hiranya Garbha Swarupini, Brahmanda Yoni, Shami, Chandramauli, Rapala, Aparna, Uma, Parvati, Savitri, Navayavana, Samrajya Lakshmi, Parameshwari, Parashodasi, Meenakshi. Taking the form of Nithyananda, I came here as Nijavatara. With great compassion and blessing, listen people, to do good to all of you, I took the form of Nithyananda and came down as Nijavatara. And Devi Parashakti also reveals, raising in Omkara, blossoming as Shiva, manifesting as source of existence, powers of existence, expression of existence, from the oneness of Om, blossoming into two as Prakriti and Purusha, blossoming as three Shaktis, Icha, Kriya, and Jnana, growing as 4 Vedas, expanding as 5 Panchabhutas, beyond 6 chakras, filled as Gotras of 7 Rishis, expanding as 8 directions, existing as 9 Grahas, blossoming as 10 Indriyas, being as 11 Mudras, creating all the worlds, bringing life to tell and make truth blossom and do good. Parashodasi, Meenakshi, in the form of Nithyananda, I came to bless every one of you. And now let's see how we can receive Devi Parashakti. So literally you are seeing Paramashiva and Parashakti at that moment. She is there on your screen. So always receive her very tradition. You can keep 2 beet leaves, 1 banana, 1 beetle nut, and a coin in front of the screen as you watch Devi Parashakti. And now some of you might be wondering what exactly a coin is considered as, or what is its importance. So in the Hindu tradition, a coin is actually considered the traditional dakshina. It can be the lowest value. In India, it can even be just a paise. In the US, it can even be just a cent. Swamiji says, I'm not trying to monetize. Keep even 1 cent, it is okay. So for 100 days, if you have darshan, it will add up to $1. In India, even 1 paise is okay. And you can offer that to Devi Parashakti. And once the darshan is over, you can do a namaskar, eat the banana, the beetle nut, take it as prasadam immediately. And whoever might be wondering what exactly this beet leaf and beetle nut is, or how will it benefit you, whether it's physically, emotionally, or mentally, how will it benefit you? So this beetle leaf and beetle nut may look too small, but in a few days you will see how much adds to your sentiment that really Devi Parashakti is there. You will not take the Devi darshan for granted. Rituals will break your monotonous and conscious mentality and lifestyle and remind you
and raise you to the powerful cognitions. It will break your unconscious behavior. And all of you can see how you can set up your tambulam. You can set up the beet leaves, the betel nut, the banana, and the coin in a plate and keep the plate in front of the screen. You can also keep the additional items such as the coconut, some turmeric, kumkum, red bangles, glass bangles, and some flowers. These are the few additional items that are kept. If you would like, you can keep these few additional items as well. But the 4 basic items that are kept as part of the tambulam is the betel leaf, the betel nut, the banana, and the coin. So you can keep it in front of the screen arranged in a plate and receive Devi Parashakti as she comes for the darshan, when she comes for the darshan. And with that, we come to a conclusion of this segment where we have learned who is Devi Parashakti and how we can receive Devi Parashakti when she comes for the darshan. And with that, we'll now be moving to the next segment of this program where all of you will be learning what exactly Devi Parashakti has revealed in the Akashic readings for humanity and how important it is for us to understand, internalize, and follow what Devi Parashakti has revealed on the way to this pralaya for all of us. So we'll be back with all of you after a really short break to move into the next segment of this program to learn about the Akashic readings revealed by Devi Parashakti.
Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om 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 Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om 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 Nithyananda Paramashivoham. காளியின் ஆட்டத்தை ஆனந்தத்தை ஆனந்தத்தொடு ஆடிய ஆட்டத்தை கண்டோர் உயிருக்குளெல்லாம் இறங்கி குண்டலினிவில் உயிர்ப்பிக்கச் செய்து மாய மனத்தின் இருளை அகற்றி மாயம் அழித்து மங்களம் தந்து குரு பக்தியும் சிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ சக்தியும் அளிக்கின்றேன். மனமாயை விடுத்து குரு பதத்தை பற்றுங்கள். நித்யானந்தமாய் நிஜாவதாரமாய் வந்துதித்த என்னை பற்றி வாழ்வில் எல்லா நலமும் பெற்றிடுங்கள். ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
யாதுமாகி நின்றாய் காளி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி.
ஓம் 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 ஓம். காளியின் ஆட்டத்தை ஆனந்தத்தை ஆனந்தத்தொடு ஆடிய ஆட்டத்தை கண்டோர் உயிருக்குளெல்லாம் இறங்கி குண்டலினியில் உயிர்ப்பிக்கச் செய்து மாய மனத்தின் இருளை அகற்றி மாயம் அழித்து மங்களம் தந்து குரு பக்தியும் சிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ சக்தியும் மனமாயை விடுத்து குரு பதத்தை பற்றுங்கள். நித்யானந்தமாய் நிஜாவதாரமாய் வந்துதித்த என்னை பற்றி வாழ்வில் எல்லா நலமும் பெற்றிடுங்கள். ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
யாதுமாகி நின்றாய் காளி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி.
ஓம் 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 ஓம். காளியின் ஆட்டத்தை ஆனந்தத்தொடு ஆடிய ஆட்டத்தை கண்டோர் உயிருக்குளெல்லாம் இறங்கி குண்டலினியில் உயிர்ப்பிக்கச் செய்து மாய மனத்தின் இருளை அகற்றி மாயம் அழித்து மங்களம் தந்து குரு பக்தியும் சிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ சக்தியும் அளிக்கின்றேன். மனமாயை விடுத்து குரு பதத்தை பற்றுங்கள். நித்யானந்தமாய் நிஜாவதாரமாய் வந்துதித்த என்னை பற்றி வாழ்வில் எல்லா நலமும் பெற்றிடுங்கள். ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
யாதுமாகி நின்றாய் காளி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி.
ஓம் 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 ஓம். காளியின் ஆட்டத்தை ஆனந்தத்தை ஆனந்தத்தொடு ஆடிய ஆட்டத்தை கண்டோர் உயிருக்குளெல்லாம் இறங்கி குண்டலினியில் உயிர்ப்பிக்கச் செய்து மாய மனத்தின் இருளை அகற்றி மாயம் அழித்து மங்களம் தந்து குரு பக்தியும் சிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ சக்தியும் அளிக்கின்றேன். மனமாயை விடுத்து குரு பதத்தை பற்றுங்கள். நித்யானந்தமாய் நிஜாவதாரமாய் வந்துதித்த என்னை பற்றி வாழ்வில் எல்லா நலமும் பெற்றிடுங்கள். ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
யாதுமாகி நின்றாய் காளி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி.
ஓம் 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 ஓம். காளியின் ஆட்டத்தை ஆனந்தத்தை ஆனந்தத்தொடு ஆடிய ஆட்டத்தை கண்டோர் உயிருக்குளெல்லாம் இறங்கி குண்டலினிவில் உயிர்ப்பிக்கச் செய்து மாய மனத்தின் இருளை அகற்றி மாயம் அழித்து மங்களம் தந்து குரு பக்தியும் சிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ சக்தியும் அளிக்கின்றேன். மனமாயை விடுத்து குரு பதத்தை பற்றுங்கள். நித்யானந்தமாய் நிஜாவதாரமாய் வந்துதித்த என்னை பற்றி வாழ்வில் எல்லா நலமும் பெற்றிடுங்கள். ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
யாதுமாகி நின்றாய் காளி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி.
ஓம் ஓம் ஓம். காளியின் ஆட்டத்தை ஆனந்தத்தை ஆனந்தத்தொடு ஆடிய ஆட்டத்தை கண்டோர் உயிருக்குளெல்லாம் இறங்கி குண்டலினிவில் உயிர்ப்பிக்கச் செய்து மாய மனத்தின் இருளை அகற்றி மாயம் அழித்து மங்களம் தந்து குரு பக்தியும் சிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ சக்தியும் அளிக்கின்றேன். மனமாயை விடுத்து குரு பதத்தை பற்றுங்கள். நித்யானந்தமாய் நிஜாவதாரமாய் வந்துதித்த என்னை பற்றி வாழ்வில் எல்லா நலமும் பெற்றிடுங்கள். ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
யாதுமாகி நின்றாய் காளி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி.
ஓம் 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 ஓம். காளியின் ஆட்டத்தை ஆனந்தத்தை ஆனந்தத்தொடு ஆடிய ஆட்டத்தை கண்டோர் உயிருக்குளெல்லாம் இறங்கி குண்டலினிவில் உயிர்ப்பிக்கச் செய்து மாய மனத்தின் இருளை அகற்றி மாயம் அழித்து மங்களம் தந்து குரு பக்தியும் சிவபக்தியும் பரமசிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ சக்தியும் அளிக்கின்றேன். மனமாயை விடுத்து குரு பதத்தை பற்றுங்கள். நித்யானந்தமாய் நிஜாவதாரமாய் வந்துதித்த என்னை பற்றி வாழ்வில் எல்லா நலமும் பெற்றிடுங்கள். ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
யாதுமாகி நின்றாய் காளி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி.
ஓம் 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 ஓம். காளியின் ஆட்டத்தை ஆனந்தத்தை ஆனந்தத்தொடு ஆடிய ஆட்டத்தை கண்டோர் உயிருக்குளெல்லாம் இறங்கி குண்டலினிவில் உயிர்ப்பிக்கச் செய்து மாய மனத்தின் இருளை அகற்றி மாயம் அழித்து மங்களம் தந்து குரு பக்தியும் சிவபக்தியும் பரமசிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ சக்தியும் அளிக்கின்றேன். மனமாயை விடுத்து குரு பதத்தை பற்றுங்கள். நித்யானந்தமாய் நிஜாவதாரமாய் வந்துதித்த என்னை பற்றி வாழ்வில் எல்லா நலமும் பெற்றிடுங்கள். ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
யாதுமாகி நின்றாய் காளி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி.
ஓம் 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 ஓம். காளியின் ஆட்டத்தை ஆனந்தத்தை ஆனந்தத்தொடு ஆடிய ஆட்டத்தை கண்டோர் உயிருக்குளெல்லாம் இறங்கி குண்டலினிவில் உயிர்ப்பிக்கச் செய்து மாய மனத்தின் இருளை அகற்றி மாயம் அழித்து மங்களம் தந்து குரு பக்தியும் சிவபக்தியும் பரமசிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ சக்தியும் அளிக்கின்றேன். மனமாயை விடுத்து குரு பதத்தை பற்றுங்கள். நித்யானந்தமாய் நிஜாவதாரமாய் வந்துதித்த என்னை பற்றி வாழ்வில் எல்லா நலமும் பெற்றிடுங்கள். ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
யாதுமாகி நின்றாய் காளி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் காளி ஓம் சக்தி, ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி.
ஓம் 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 ஓம். காளியின் ஆட்டத்தை ஆனந்தத்தை ஆனந்தத்தொடு ஆடிய ஆட்டத்தை கண்டோர் உயிருக்குளெல்லாம் இறங்கி குண்டலினிவில் உயிர்ப்பிக்கச் செய்து மாய மனத்தின் இருளை அகற்றி மாயம் அழித்து மங்களம்.
Hello everyone. This is Nandini, and I'm from Seattle. I wanted to share my experience on why I follow. I've been volunteering at Nithyanandeshwara Hindu Temple, and I've been doing a lot of seva here. Um, back in India, usually only men are allowed to touch the deities and do the abhishekam, alankaram, and several other deity activities, whereas women are restricted only to certain things. Whereas here in Nithyanandeshwara Hindu Temple, people are allowed to do seva, irrespective of whether they are men or women. Uh, Anybody who gets Shiva Diksha is allowed to touch the deities. Do abhishekam to them and do alankaram to them and enjoy that space. I've been doing a lot of activities like suprabhadam, abhishekams, alankarams, and palyarai, a lot of other processes, and I've been feeling really blissful when I do it. So I would like to thank Swamiji for giving such a wonderful opportunity for me to take part in the temple activities and be so close to the deities. Thank you so much.
Nithyanandam, welcome back to your viewers. Now let's enter into this next segment where we will understand some of the revelations made by Devi Parashakti. So Devi has been continuously manifesting over the last several months just for the sake of guiding us. Let us understand what Devi has revealed and has given as a guidance to humanity during this time. We can go back to the previous slide, please. So first, let us understand the compassion of the avatar. In the Guru Padaka Stotram, composed by Adi Shankaracharya, the very first verse describes how the Guru Padaka, the sacred feet of the Guru, is the boat that helps us cross the Ananta Samsara Samudra, the seemingly endless ocean of samsara or suffering. And the first verse translates as salutations to the sandals of my Guru, who is a boat, which helps me cross the endless ocean of life, which endows me with the sense of devotion to my Guru, and by worship of which I attain the dominion of renunciation. Many of us feel stuck in the same storming and raging ocean, being unable to navigate ourselves and lost in the overwhelming vastness of the suffering that surrounds us during Pralaya, this great deluge. Our loved ones are dying due to the pandemic. Our homes are being destroyed due to natural disasters. Social institutions are crumbling, and the whole humanity is in a desperate and dire need of hope. It's at this time that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the incarnation of the cosmic superconsciousness, out of his love and compassion, having taken responsibility for the superconscious breakthrough of whole of humanity, is manifesting Devi Parashakti. And removing all of our suffering, answering each of our prayers, and Devi Parashakti is herself manifesting through the Nijavatara and answering each of our prayers, granting boons, healing us, manifesting miracles, removing all of our pain and suffering. Devi has not just attended to us individually, but to us as a whole, as humanity. Devi Parashakti has guided the whole humanity in the form of revelations of profound, sacred secrets of Sanatana Hindu Dharma, and showing us the future regarding global issues, the COVID pandemic, natural disasters such as fires and floods, and much more, and even the twisted human conspiracies and underground wars, which have not surfaced to common knowledge as yet. In this segment, we will be elaborating on the statistical, scientific, and scriptural references of each of these sacred revelations, which have manifested precisely as the same guidance emerged from Devi Parashakti herself. And this is for us to imbibe deeply. Devi Parashakti continues to protect us until the storm ends, and we are safely harbored at the shores of our consciousness. So let us understand what Devi has revealed about the rising sea level. Let us watch the video of Devi Parashakti's revelation.
ஓம் ஓம் ஆண்ட்ரியாஸ் கல். மூன்றாம் உலகப் போரிலிருந்து தப்பிக்க எந்நாடு பாதுகாப்பென்று கேட்கின்றாய், கேட்டுக்கொள் சொல்வதை எல்லாம். மத்திய கிழக்கிலே போர், இந்தியாவில் கொரோனா கொடுந்தொற்று மற்றும் கடல் உயர் எழும்பல் எனும் மூன்றில் இருந்தும் காவல் கைலாசம் ஒன்றே. வாழ்விற்கு அதுவே நன்றே. முடிந்தால் வந்து சேர்ந்திடு. ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
We can continue to the next slide, please. Yes, we can continue on to the next slide, please. So let us understand Devi Parashakti's revelations mapped into English. Devi revealed, you were asking which country is safe to escape from the Third World War. Listen to everything which is said. War in the Middle East, deadly corona in India, and rising sea levels. Protection from all of these three is one and only in Kailasa. Only it is good for life, if possible, come and reach. And on the 19th of May, 2021, while answering the prayers of one of the devotees, Devi Parashakti, manifesting through the Supreme Concept of Hinduism, warned about the sea levels rising and the cascading effects of climate change crisis on humanity. Exactly as Devi revealed the very next day, on the 20th of May, 2021, the biggest iceberg broke, which was 70 times the size of Manhattan, posing a huge threat to humanity and causing the sea levels to rise drastically. Let us now understand Devi's revelation more deeply. So as we stated on the 20th of May, 2021, just one day after Devi Parashakti's revelation, the world's largest iceberg broke off of the Antarctic shelf. And this caused the sea levels to rise drastically. And many of us know that the global sea level rising has been an issue that scientists have been talking about for many years. Even under the most modest scenarios, scientists expect that sea levels rise sea levels will rise to affect Earth's coastlines significantly in the coming centuries. And it's expected that even in the previous slide, so even in a best case scenario, I could request the volunteer to go back to the previous slide, please. So even in a best case scenario, if we are able to reduce our CO2 emissions to complete zero we will still see sea levels rising within up to almost 1 meter within the next couple hundred years. And in a worst case scenario, if we keep going at the levels that we are, it could be well over 4 meters or more. And this is, in any level, we will be seeing sea levels rising and the coastline being affected significantly due to this. And we've known this for a while, that the climate change crisis and global warming will cause these sea levels to rise. But we never expected that it would happen so immediately. But the day after they be revealed that the sea levels will be rising, immediately we saw that affect our reality when the iceberg broke and we saw sea levels rising. And sea levels since the 1880s in some ocean basins and sea level have risen as much as 6 to 8 inches. That's 15 to 20 centimeters since the start of the satellite record in 1993. And it's expected that sea levels will rise between 1 to 8 feet by the year 2100. So as we stated earlier, even in a best case scenario, sea levels will continue to rise. And of course, as these sea levels rise, it will affect the communities that live around the coastline. In the United States, almost 40% of the population lives in relatively high population density coastal areas. Globally, 8 of the world's 10 largest cities are near a coast, according to the UN Atlas of the Oceans. So we can see that many of the communities living around coastal areas will obviously be affected by the sea levels rising. And unfortunately, a large population in the United States alone lives around the coast. And in many other countries and cities around the world, large communities have been built around coastlines. And we will see this directly, the people who live around these coastlines being directly impacted as these sea levels rise. And even other communities who are living further inland will also see the effects of this, as higher background water levels means that deadly incidents such as those associated with Hurricane Katrina, the Superstorm Sandy, and Hurricane Michael push further inland, and that they further inland than they once did. And these higher levels also mean more frequent high tide flooding, sometimes called nuisance flooding. And over the last 50 years, we've seen an increase in the nuisance flooding between 300 to 900%. So as these sea levels rise, it'll not just be the coastlines that will be affected, but unfortunately, even more people will be affected that are more inland. And we will see more and more people facing the direct repercussions and indirect repercussions of the global climate change crisis and the rising sea levels. So what is actually causing these sea levels to rise? As we all have heard before, it is global warming that is causing sea levels to rise. And this is happening in 2 ways. First is that glaciers and ice sheets worldwide are melting and adding water to the ocean. Second, the volume of the ocean is expanding as the water warms. And a third, but much smaller contributor to the sea levels rising is a decline in the amount of liquid water on land, so in aquifers, lakes, reservoirs, and rivers, and soil moisture is shifting from liquid water on land to the ocean. And this is unfortunately, again, due to human activity and the groundwater pumping. So we can see an example of what has happened in less than 100 years. So the Patterson Glacier in 1917 was a fully formed glacier, but by the year 2005, it has nearly fully melted, and it's almost been 100 years. It's essentially one lifetime of a person, and we can see how drastically the ice sheets are dwindling and how much this will affect our lives. The pace of global sea level rise 1.4 millimeters per year throughout most of the 20th century to 3.6 millimeters per year from 2006. So for the most of the 20th century, the sea levels rising was pretty stable at 1.4 millimeters. But within a few years, it has doubled to 3.6 millimeters per year. So we can see that our damage, our human activity, our damage to the environment has continuously been on the rise. Unfortunately, it has not declined at all, despite us being aware of the effects that global warming and climate change will have on our lives in the coming years. And the Greenland ice loss has, sorry, we can go back to the previous slide, please. So we've seen in Greenland, the ice loss has drastically increased over the last few years. And in between 1992 and 2001, it was around 34 billion tons per year. But between 2012 and 2016, it increased to 247 billion tons. So that's nearly 8 times as much. We've seen an increase within just a little over a decade. So we are unfortunately continuously and drastically affecting our environment and affecting climate change with our continuous human activity. And on August 2021, the UN published a code red, a warning of worsening global warming and rising sea levels. This was a few months after Devi revealed. Devi had already given us a warning back in May of 2021. And a few months later, we also saw from the UN that they also gave a warning that the worsening of global warming and rising sea levels and how it will affect us. Let's understand a little bit more in detail. So UN warned that the worsening global warming in some harm from climate change includes the dwindling ice sheets, the rising sea levels, and changes in the oceans as they lose oxygen and become more acidic. This is irreversible for centuries to millennia, and the world is locked into 15 to 30 centimeters. That's 6 to 12 inches of sea levels rising by the mid-century. And Davy had already revealed that the climate change crisis is worsening and that we will be seeing the effects of this. And a few months later, scientists also warned the same thing, even though we've known for a while that global warming is affecting our, will be affecting us within the coming years. It was only recently that scientists had been giving a code red, a warning that Davy had already given much earlier. And even if we significantly curb emissions in the coming decades, like we saw in the earlier graph, more than a third of the world's remaining glaciers will melt before the year 2100. And when it comes to sea ice, 95% of the oldest and thickest ice is in the that is in the Arctic is already gone. And unfortunately, as these sea levels have been rising, Devi has warned that we will see the cascading effects of this in the coming months. And unfortunately, we've already seen this affecting so many communities around the world with so many natural disasters and specifically flooding that has affected many, many people worldwide. Most recently, the German floods have devastated the country, and more than 150 people are still in those floods. This is exactly as Devi revealed. It's not just that we will see the sea levels rising, we will see the direct cascading effects of this. And unfortunately, worldwide, we have already been seeing this. So, and Europe's deadly floods leave scientists completely stunned. This is reported in Science. Even scientists are shocked by the damaging effects of this sea levels rising and how much the climate change crisis has affected us directly. However, Devi already warned about this many, many months ago. And the climate change crisis made deadly German floods up to 9 times more likely. So unfortunately, as we know, it will be very difficult. As per modern science, it is nearly impossible actually to reverse the damage that we've already done to Mother Earth. And no one has really a solution. They're only able to manage the situation. But the Supreme Concept of Hinduism and Kailasa have provided a solution for healing Mother Earth through non-violence and experiencing that oneness. When we're able to connect with Mother Nature, are able to be in tune with Mother Nature, we will see that she will literally respond to us. She'll be able to heal herself and will literally have a direct response to our oneness, our connection with her. Let us understand how the Supreme Concept of Hinduism has revealed how Mother Nature can directly respond to us. Let us watch that video now.
The human beings have become so distanced from the real life, are ready to explore things. We become so far away from, at least I can tell you from my experience, village boy. When I was 5 or 6, I opened all the alarm clocks in my house and I'll set it back, put it back. I don't see all that in the modern day kids. It's all about that stupid cell phone. Involvement with the reality has drastically reduced. Our whole life is nothing but the screen. Whether your love, relationships, even your sex, every screen. Am I right? Almost. No, almost has been reduced to that screen. Involvement with the reality has drastically come down. It is so unfortunate, especially the food, the plastic food dumped into your system. See, all the things which you eat, none of them have life. They are all not grown. My guru used to tell, please walk without chappal or covering your feet, whatever grows in that land eat, because Mother Earth records when you walk without shoes what all the ingredients are missing in your body. She records what you need for your body, nutrients or vitamins, whatever. Whatever is missing in your body, she produces in that food which grows in that land. And eat that and live. It is too mind-boggling concept. I tell you, only after I started doing it, I realized you don't need any external medicine if you know to live with the nature. Mother Earth, Bhumata, walk on the earth without shoes. In that land, what grows?
I'm from the UK. I'm 19 years old. I'm a full-time student at university, first year. I've come here.
Looks too difficult to believe. But after I started doing that, I realized it. Your body does not need any other medicine, anything else. Actually, maybe 2 years before, due to these continuous classes, day and night, and in the night time, the web-based programs for the outside India, all these, my whole eating habits have gone chaos, and no question of rest. It became like a too much on the system. So I had some stomach issues. I remembered my guru telling this, walk on the earth and what grows eat. So I started walking without chappal for a few days. Suddenly I saw in my courtyard a new plant coming up. No seed, nothing, just coming up. I was wondering what is going on. How come suddenly, between the rocks, new plant coming up. And one of the devotee Ayurvedic doctor, he said, Swamiji, if you can get this plant and add it in your food, your stomach will be completely healed. I said, where to get? When he walked into the courtyard, he said, this is the plant. This is the plant. And throughout the campus we searched, we did not find another one. Nobody knows from where the seed has come, from where the plant has come. Understand, it is not that just for me miraculously nature is doing. It is the nature's life. I was ready to play with it, so she showed the miracles to me. Anybody willing to play with her, she shows her miracles to you. Nature is miraculous. If we are ready to play, she shows it. She demonstrates her love, her care. If we go back to the food with life, our life also will start more interacting, more alive, more vibrant, more overflowing.
Yes. So, as the Supreme Concept of Hinduism revealed, Mother Nature will literally respond to you. Bhumata will literally respond to you when you are able to connect with her with non-violence, with that oneness. She will be able to actually respond to you. And only through this non-violence, this oneness with Mother Nature, can we heal all of our damage that we've already done. And it is only Kailasa and the Supreme Concept of Hinduism who are providing a direct solution for this climate change crisis to heal Mother Nature. And it is only through Kailasa and the Supreme Concept of Hinduism will we be able to reverse the damage that has already been done to Bhumata. So if you would like to learn more, you can visit kailasa.org and you can sign up to become an e-Kailashian and understand what all the Supreme Concept of Hinduism through the Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations has been doing to curb climate change, to heal Mother Earth, and to give a super conscious breakthrough to whole of humanity. So if you would like to sign up, you can visit kailasa.org. With this, we will be concluding this portion of the program and entering into the next segment, where we will learn some of the offerings that we can make to Devi Parashakti. So please stay tuned for that segment. We'll be right back after a very short break. So in this next segment, we will understand exactly how we can connect with Devi Parashakti more deeply. As we all know, Devi has been continuously manifesting for the last several months just for the sake of guiding us, for the sake of healing us, and for the sake of granting all of our boons and prayers. So in this next segment, we will understand how we can connect with Devi Parashakti more deeply and how we can receive her blessings more deeply. So we'll be right back after a very quick break.
காளியின் ஆட்டத்தை ஆனந்தத்தை ஆனந்தத்தொடு ஆடிய ஆட்டத்தை கண்டோர் உயிருக்குளெல்லாம் இறங்கி குண்டலினி உயிர்ப்பிக்கச் செய்து மாய மனத்தின் இருளை அகற்றி மாயம் அழித்து மங்களம் தந்து குரு பக்தியும் சிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ பக்தியும் பரமசிவ சக்தியும் அளிக்கின்றேன். மனமாயை விடுத்து குரு பதத்தை பற்றுங்கள். நித்யானந்தமாய் நிஜாவதாரமாய் வந்துதித்த என்னை பற்றி வாழ்வில் எல்லா நலமும் பெற்றிடுங்கள். ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
யாதுமாகி நின்றாய் காளி,
காளியின் ஆட்டத்தை ஆனந்தத்தை
Nithyanandam, welcome back to all the viewers as we are now starting the next segment in today's program. The various different offerings that you can make to Devi Parashakti. An offering in Sanatana Hindu Dharma is made out of pure love, gratitude, and oneness. And these terms might be extremely unfamiliar to you. You might not know what exactly, or have experienced pure love in your life, or gratitude, or even oneness. Of course, that's something that is a complete different experience that most of us are completely new to. And even in our day and age, pure love is even something that is rare and hard to find for many of us. And gratitude is something that we've only known superficially, and we're taught in schools, and we're taught as a superficial moral rather than a experience that happens and overflows inside of us. In Sanatana Hindu Dharma, we are consciously building gratitude as a way to exist, as a way that we are relating with life, and a way that we are relating to the existence itself. Yes, let's get started in today's segment. In every single one of these offerings, we will be just simply seeing how Devi Parashakti literally guides us in every moment. And we're just offering our gratitude for her having completely stretched herself, of having completely given us the opportunity to ensure and make us enjoy our lives, enjoy every single thing that is happening in our lives. Yes, can we go on to the next slide, please? Yes. So let us begin the various different offerings that you can make to Devi Parashakti. There's a beautiful story in the Guaranteed Solutions book, authored by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, where a man asked God, please, I am praying to you, please give me $10 million. And if you do give me $10 million, I promise that I will give you 2 million to your shrine. I'll donate it to your shrine, and I'll ensure that the rest of the money I'll keep and I'll do good with it. And he said, as if you don't believe me, then you can keep 20% of the $10 million for yourself, and I will keep the rest. Understand that just like in this story, all of our relationship with life, everything becomes a negotiation. We always have a give and take, even with existence itself and even with God. When it comes to religion and when it comes to our relationship with the higher powers, we are only asking for more, never offering our gratitude. And it has become kind of a tendency inside of us, inside of our inner chatter. Even if you just sit now and you write down all of your thoughts that are happening, you'll see that you are only asking for more. You're only feeling like everything that is given around you is not enough, and you're feeling so suffocated inside just because of that black hole that we are continuously inside of us, that is sucking and demanding our energy. With gratitude in our lives, we experience so many breakthroughs, so much in our lives, and we can start to connect back with the existence, connect back with Devi Parashakti, and literally start to experience the higher experiences in our life. So now let us go on. We'll first chant the Dhyana Shloka of Devi Parashakti. The Dhyana Shloka is a very beautiful offering of remembrance, an offering of pure love to Devi Parashakti. And when we remember her, that feeling that it invokes, whenever we are in love, there's a beautiful proverb, is that I'm not in love with you because of the way that I'm not in love with you because of you, but the way that you make me feel. That's something that many of us always feel. In the same way, the Dhyana Shloka, when we deeply invoke the present and we are declaring our love for the divine, and that heightened feeling, that rising in love, is ultimately what happens during this, whenever we're chanting the Dhyana Shloka, whenever we are giving that love to the deity. Sorry, if we can go back to the previous slide, I'll just chant this shloka. Yes. Indu nibabeda karavahinayanam syat pankaja varabaya japaksha sarayuktam anga himabhushana vichitravasanam syat tunga mukutojjvala manonmani swarupam. And the next slide, please, we'll go on into the translation. Moonlight face holding the Vedas on hand, fire in eyes with lotus flower, gracing and blessing hands on one hand with the japamala, beautifully decorated with jeweled ornaments and wonderful clothes, and shining like a bright crown. Her name is Manonmani. The next slide, please. Now I'll be chanting the next Dhyana Shloka. ध्याये देवीं त्रिनेत्रां शशिनिभवदनां वेदहस्तां ददानां दव्ये पद्मं वरदमपरे चाभयं चाक्षमालां दिव्यैराभरणैर्विभूषिततनुं ब्रह्मादिविपूजितां देवीमेव मनोन्मनीं प्रतिदिनं कामत्रदात्रीं शुभाम्. Yes, and the English translation here says, I meditate on Devi with 3 eyes going like the full moon and holding the Vedas and gracing with blessing and gracing hands. She is wearing beautiful ornaments and she is worshipped by Brahma and other many gods and showers auspicious boons for all actions every day. Yes. Now having thus chanted the Dhyana Shloka, remember Devi Parashakti, let us now enter into the next layer in this segment, understanding the significance of the divine element gold. As you can see, the gold is actually referred in the scriptures of Sanatana Hindu Dharma, not just in here Veda, but also in several other places. It has different references for how gold is actually a very, very powerful product for spiritual alchemy, where it can literally invoke and infuse sattva energy. It can infuse life positive energy. And if to anyone who wears it and even anyone who's in its vicinity, it has so much of powerful attributes. That's why gold is considered as a divine element. It can purify anything, and it gives an element of spiritual significance and great spiritual power. As you can see here in the verse from the gold is attributed to the long life, meaning that it has power to literally be a alchemy product for immortality. As you can see, gold is present in all the scriptures, the Agamas, Vedas, the Shrutis, Smritis, Itihasas, and Puranas. And it's in all the Hindu scriptures, it is abundantly displayed that gold is the most auspicious and purest metal which purifies our very being. In the Hindu civilization, everything was built in gold, exchanged in gold, and even ritual feasts were offered in gold bricks. When one was to be saved from life-threatening illnesses, gold was offered as a ritual fee. And kingdoms were built with huge doors of gold. The streets would have huge columns and huge archways made of gold, and even horse cows were dressed in gold. And in the Hindu civilization, the Indus River was the river of gold, or the Hiranyamaya, and the river Saraswati was also called the Hiranyavartani. And these are both from the Rig Veda and the Atharva Veda. The next slide, please. So as you can see, gold has so much of significance. And until today, the gold that was offered in the physical body of the
the ongoing pandemic, COVID-19 is creating a hunger catastrophe in India. The pandemic has led to increase in global food insecurity, affecting vulnerable households in almost every country. It has exacerbated existing inequalities, pushing millions of people into the vicious cycles of economic stagnation, loss of livelihood, and worsening the food insecurity. COVID-19 is creating a hunger catastrophe in India. The World Bank estimates that 71 million people will be pushed into extreme poverty across the globe as a result of the pandemic. The World Food Programme estimates that an additional 130 million people could fall into the category of food insecurity over and above 820 million people who are classified as such by the 2019 State of Food Insecurity in the World Report. More than 50 million people have experienced food insecurity during the pandemic, up from 35 million in 2019, according to the Feeding America nonprofit, the nation's largest domestic hunger relief organization. Now, let us look into the child malnutrition and the hunger skyrocket in Haiti as COVID-19 infections spike. At least 86,000 children were at risk of developing severe acute child malnutrition this year in Haiti. According to the sources connected to the United Nations Children's Fund, the number of children projected to suffer from starvation this year has doubled as the impoverished nation continues to grapple with extraordinary political and social crisis exacerbated by the pandemic. And now, on the other hand, the refugees are paying the highest price in the COVID-19 pandemic. The vulnerable groups, such as the refugees, are paying the highest price in COVID-19 pandemic. We are seeing alarming trends that show many refugees around the world are unable to pay for the food or rent and are struggling to access the healthcare and education. Price hikes in local markets and further displacement caused by campfires have pushed many families further into food insecurity. During April and May, around 30,000 refugees in Cox's Bazar camps raised questions and concerns, with 63% seeking services, including urgent food relief and shelter. Just over 1/3 requested health or medical care. The number of people teetering on the brink of famine has risen from 34 million projected at the beginning of the year to 41 million projected as of June. He said without immediate emergency food assistance, they too face a starvation, as the slightest shock will push them over the cliff into famine conditions. The World Bank released an analysis of the rising food insecurity rates in response to COVID-19 pandemic. The report released on May 20th, 2021 stated that COVID-19 impacts have led to severe and widespread increase in global food insecurity, affecting vulnerable households in almost every country, with impacts expected to continue through 2021 and into 2022. It also states that the global food prices increased significantly by 38% since January 2020. The World Economic Forum says that 155 million people are caught up in food crises of varying severity. 133,000 people in Burkina Faso, South Sudan, and Yemen are most at risk. 10 countries account for 2/3 of those facing acute hunger. The resilience of agri-food systems is being eroded by conflict, insecurity, and environmental trends. The developmental, economic, social, and medical impacts of malnutrition have a critical impact on the individual, familial, community, national, ultimately on the global level. With the COVID-19 pandemic triggering an alarming spike in food insecurity, the United Nations have given warnings to famines of biblical proportions. In 2020 alone, 690 million people were estimated to be pushed into food insecurity. The access and availability to organic food has become of utmost importance. The COVID-19 induced lockdown in India was a huge economic shock. It stalled the economy with complete closure imposed on enterprises across all sectors. Even though agricultural activities were exempted in the initial phases of the lockdown, the agriculture value chain also faced large-scale disruptions. This has a serious detrimental effect on the rural Indian economy. The coronavirus pandemic has also triggered a massive reverse migration from the urban to rural areas in large parts of the country. So here you have an opportunity to join our COVID care protection centers. You can register yourself through the link below, kailasa.org/kailasacare, KAILASA.org/KAILASACARE. So do not miss this opportunity to be part of this COVID care protection center, where you have this wonderful opportunity to be in the energy field, the sacred energy field, blessed by the supreme pontiff of Hinduism, where you can feel completely protected. When the world is suffering from so many issues, it is just not a food insecurity issue, but the impact of this food insecurity issue the impact of it is being on the receiving end for many sections of people. So I'm sure all of you are feeling what is going to happen next. There are so many uncertainties involved. So for you to protect yourself in this ongoing pralaya, Devi Parashakti, manifesting through the Nijavatar, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam, has revealed that Adi Kailasa Nithyananda Sarvangapeetham, which the Nijavatara has built several years ago to protect the humanity from ongoing pralaya, is the safest place for you to protect yourselves from pralaya. So you can register yourself from the link below, kailasa.org/kailasacare, KAILASA.org/KAILASACARE. So let's take a few minutes to register yourselves from kailasa.org/kailasacare. Welcome back. Now, let us look into the food security policy. Food policy from Kailasa. You become what you eat. What you eat contributes to what you think. What you think contributes to what you cognize. What you cognize contributes to who you are. So who you are, what you eat, directly affects who you are, and that is why the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Swamiji is making the statement, you become what you eat. What is in your plate matters because that is what is going to become you. The violence-based food and life-negative, chemical-based toxic food both harm the system equally. Organic vegetarian food is not just for health. It gives you an inner space, psychological flow to develop highest psychology. To develop highest psychology, not only your physical system, even your physiological flow needs to cooperate. Your brain is constructed for all these higher things. When you don't explore the higher things, you are bound to feed the lower things and keep your brain engaged for survival. If you do not explore the higher dimensions of consciousness, you will force yourself into drugs and try to explore the hallucination, imaginary, illusory dimensions of the universe. The human body is naturally designed for vegetarian food. The inner mechanisms like feeling, thinking, words, everything is designed to function with vegetarian food. It is like having a generator which can handle only 220 volt current or a UPS which can handle only 220 volt current. But it is given that 20,000 volts. What will happen? It will just get fused. The food without anxiety, fear, depression, biomemories, if they are consumed by a person, the energy with which they think, the energy with which they utter words, the energy with which they act, the energy with which they feel, everything will be aligned to natural source of energy. It will be aligned to nature, which is the inner potential energy. Now, let us look into Kailasa's Annalaya, the contributions of free, organic, vegetarian sattvic meal for one and all to eliminate hunger and raise themselves to claim their conscious sovereignty. Now, let us watch this video where the Hindu food policy is being revealed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Swamiji. Just hold on a second.
Paramashiva declares food has to be completely freely available for the whole nation. So we are going to follow the same procedure. Food, knowledge. See, not only the guru should not charge the student. If guru does not have
money to feed the students. You see, in Hindu tradition, the student, not only you can't charge the student has to be given food, given all the things needed, and given education. Intention to study is worshipped in Hindu tradition. So if a child has an intention to study, he becomes a brahmachari. So from that moment, the Hindu society is responsible for giving food, shelter, education, everything needed for that brahmachari. The guru is responsible for providing everything to a brahmachari who want to study. If guru does not have, if guru is not wealthy enough, he has to go for bhiksha. He is allowed to beg. And brahmacharis are also allowed to beg. You can beg, but guru is bound to provide everything to the brahmacharis and give education. We are going to be following the same policy. Not only knowledge is free, all your survival needs during your study period also is free. And we are going to be following the same principles. My vision is to provide all these services to all the 2 billion Hindus all over the world. More than 1.2 billion born Hindus and around 800 million, 0.8 million practicing Hindus are there all over the world. So I feel my personal vision is to provide these services to all the 2 billion people all over the world. Let's see, with the grace of Paramashiva, we will be able to do it. Paramashiva declares food has to be completely freely available for the whole nation.
Yes. So I hope now let's look into the Hindu food policy as revealed by the Supreme Court of Hinduism. A highly effective concept of ensuring food security in ancient Hindu nations was that of food grain banks. These were prevalent until the 18th century. The elderly in villages would start food grain banks with a seed capital of grains collected by fundraising. If any person met with a crisis, such as a crop failure, the food grain bank would lend them the grains in exchange for an interest which the debtor was expected to return with a principal grain amount during the next harvest. The bank would expand its reserves of food grains based on the interest earned and donations. At the time of severe crisis, such as famine, the entire village would be able to withdraw these grains, and if required, all such grain loans will be written off on the humanitarian grounds. In Bihar, farmers form grain bank to help feed the needy. The farmers who are the stakeholders of the grain bank have formed a set of guidelines to operate the bank while considering the rules to be followed during the lockdown. One such food grain bank was voluntarily created in 2020 by farmers in Bihar and has bailed out several workers who were forced to migrate due to lockdowns. Food grain banks and their very concepts were destroyed by the British colonial government for diverting food resources to their war efforts that resulted in massive famines and deaths due to starvation. In Hindu temples, the food is shared for free as a policy. This was the case in both ancient times and in modern times. For 27 years, every month, the Hindu Adisaivite minority community has served more than 3 million free organic meals in religious gatherings to everyone without discrimination and has served over 1 billion free meals in total. Such private and public efforts are crucial to ease the threats of starvation, which is estimated to hit a billion people worldwide. Upanishad says very beautifully, Annam Bahu Kurvita. Let us create and share. It is the responsibility of all the disciples and followers of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to create food and share with the world. No hungry stomach can be denied food. Let all the hungry stomach be fulfilled with food. Food, when Swamiji says, it is not just the food, it is not any food, it is organic, sattvic vegetarian meals. Kailasa's food banks offer well-balanced, pure, sattvic, organic vegetarian meals to everyone who comes to ashram. As per the glorious tradition of Vedagamic culture, free food is served throughout the day to all the visitors in the form of prasada at all the Annamandirs around the world. Meals are also served in schools, colleges, and to the poor and needy in rural areas. Mobile Annamandirs serve meals in mass meditation camps. Thousands of poor people, wandering sadhus, and devotees are served free food at various Kailasas Annamandirs worldwide. All this started decades before the current pandemic and is continuing even till today. Now let us watch this video where Swamiji is revealing more sacred truths of Kailasa's food bank and the policies based on which these food banks function.
Great. Understand, I wanted to give my vision for Annalaya. When we eat, let us be authentic. When we feed others, let us be authentic. Don't put rules when you feed others. Don't pamper yourself when you feed yourself. Understand? We do completely opposite. When we feed ourselves, we pamper. When we feed others, we put all rules. I'm giving a clear vision how I wanted Annalayas to be functioning all over the world. Upanishad says very clearly, Annam Bahu Guruvita. Let us create and share. Annam Bahu Guruvita. Let us create and share. It's a responsibility of all the disciples and followers of Nithyananda to create food and share with the world. Create and share. No hungry stomach can be denied food. Second, no place where there is no hunger, you can't throw food. Means you can't throw food more than your hunger. Once hunger is over, you can't dump the food inside your stomach, or you can't dump the food in the dustbin, which does not have hunger. Means no wastage. Annam bahukurvita. Annam na nindyat tat vratam. The literal translation is, let us create and share, and let us not waste food. This is authenticity. This is the vision I give for Annalayas. Annam bahukurvita, annam na nindyat tatpratam. Let us create and share food. Let no hungry stomach be denied food. Let, instead of telling in the negative, let us put it in the positive. Let all hungry stomach being fed, and let us not waste the food by dropping it in the stomach which is not hungry, or in the dustbin, outside or inside. That is being authentic with food. I wanted all our Annalayas to have this board, which will be sent to you through email. And I also feel, just like our masters used the food as a way to reach out to people. Parani, just the Panchamritam reminds people. Tirupati, just the Laddu. And ISKCON has successfully done this by reaching out to people just by their restaurants. Govinda restaurants. They run almost 3,000 restaurants. Hats off to them for reaching out to the world just through their restaurant. I request all our devotees, disciples very sincerely. Please understand, in all cities, wherever we have committed disciples, devotees, in all cities I wanted a place to be rented in the center of the city, where you will have a restaurant giving food free, and a beautiful galleria selling our books and the N Galleria products, and a library where they can sit and read, and a small meditation hall where they can meditate and go. This kind of a center should evolve in all possible cities, wherever we have temples, and even the places where we can't create temples immediately. This can be started immediately. And with authenticity, integrity, with the grace of Annapurani, I am committing, I will fund it. Anybody who is ready to run, please create the project plan and commit authentically. I am ready to fund. I am inviting applications from all over the world, any country, any city. Any of our devotees, disciples can apply. We will start. If you are already running a temple, I request you to implement this project, where people can come and have the food, sit in the meditation hall, or just read the books, buy the books, whatever they want, our products in Galleria. Just through this way, we will reach out to people. And it's my passion project. All the Niraharis, the Nirahari team should start thinking about this. You should not be eating, but you should be sharing. When it comes to us, fasting is the ideal. When it comes to others, feasting is the ideal.
And one great sadhu, Shantananda Saraswati, he was from Coimbatore. He made this system very successfully possible. And he was running, even now his disciples are running. Swamiji has already attained Mahasamadhi, but his disciples are running. In Singapore, they are running this, Anna Lakshmi. Singapore Center, do you guys know that? Come on. Anyhow, I am alive, we can give. Okay? I am alive, we can give. All I wanted from you all is just lend your hand to share. And I am ready to fund. I am ready to fund. As long as I eat, I'll fund. I'll fund for this project, only then I'll eat. And I can. Annapurani's grace is there on us. We can. We can.
And after having understood the extreme depth of compassion with which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam, has started and is continuing to run the Annalayas, Nithyananda Annalayas worldwide, let us take a bigger look at what impact hunger really has on planet Earth, on human beings, and the depth of the problem if food is not available. As Bhagwan said, Annam Bahupurvita is the ordainment of the Veda Agamas. Why so? What really are the implications of hunger? Let us see as the world is going through it today. Climate change and hunger are very interrelated. A large part of the world is sadly still grappling with the problem of acute food insecurity. The rise in hunger has been showing no sign of diminishing. As compared to the pre-pandemic scenario, the number of food insecure people was estimated to 270 million by the end of 2020 due to the fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the recent analysis, that represents a staggering increase of 82%. Even though zero hunger is the second sustainable development goal set by the United Nations as its development agenda, stating the goal as to end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture, the recent trends show that not only are we far from achieving this goal by the target year of 2030, but the percentage of people affected by hunger will cross 840 million by 2030 as compared to the current figure of 690 million. Around 2 billion people did not have regular access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food in 2019, of which nearly 750 million, or nearly 10% of the world's population, were exposed to severe food insecurity. When it comes to food security and nutritional status, the most vulnerable sections of the population, such as the poor, senior citizens, migrant workers, internally displaced persons, women, and children, are expected to bear most of the brunt of the health and socio-economic consequences induced by the COVID-19 pandemic. And the stats don't stop there. 144 million children below the age of 5 were affected by stunting, that is, low height for age, in 2019, while around 47 million children in the same age group were affected by wasting, a condition defined as low weight for height, caused due to low nutrient intake or prolonged illnesses. Our dietary habits are also found to be significantly linked to greenhouse gas emissions and climate change. The greenhouse gas emissions from the global livestock industry surpass those from all cars, trains, planes, and ships combined. A study published in Science in 2018 assessed the relative climate impact of various food groups. The analysis showed that animal-based foods, especially beef, lamb, shrimps, pork, poultry, fish, and eggs, have a much higher carbon footprint than plant-based foods. Beef and lamb, mutton occupy the top spots in this analysis. Our dietary habits are also found to be significantly linked to greenhouse gas emissions and climate change. The greenhouse gas emissions from the global livestock industry surpass those from all cars, trains, planes, and ships combined. A study published in Science in 2018